Bad Wolf. Ah, woo.
Bad Wolves of London.
I was really hoping that you were gonna... Here in my head, this is how it was gonna work out. I was gonna go Bad Wolf. Ah, woo. And you were gonna go Bad Wolf indeed.
I can do that. I like it.
Well, I just explained it. So if you still want to... I mean, yeah, but it might be kind of fun for me to explain it. I just want more talking time on this fucking podcast, Zachary. Hey, future Zach. Let me out. Let me out.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Who Is My Doctor?
Who is my doctor?
Who is indeed. I am your host, Zach, and I know a lot about Doctor Who.
And I'm also your host, Cassie, and I do not know a lot about Doctor Who.
Well, you're about to finally know a whole season of Doctor Who. Because this two-parter is the end of season 1. Or series 1. I'm gonna go back and forth on them for a while, I'm sure.
Doesn't matter.
I know. I'm sure I've said it 5 times now. This is Bad Wolf and the Parting of the Ways. Bad Wolf, a phrase we've seen multiple times over the course of this season. It's been put on posters. It's been spray painted on the TARDIS. I think most prominently it was the translation of the Blythe Droog project in the last episode.
Yeah, they made a whole point of bringing it up, and then the Doctor just kind of went, meh.
That's probably not important. Cut to next episode being titled Bad Wolf. I'm really looking forward to this. And I say this because I told you already that my favorite story in this is The Empty Child, / The Doctor Dances. But there is a not insubstantial number of people that still view this two-parter as the best of the season.
Now, do you think that's because it's good, or is it because it is the end?
I think, I will say, it is good. This is not, I'm not questioning its quality. For me, also, I have a personal hang-up with it that we'll talk about when we get into the later parts that knocks it down a few rungs here. That may not bother you at all, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Now, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I know when we started I've answered my own question, kind of. It's 2005. When are these airing? Just so I kind of have an idea about, like, the context in which people are watching these episodes. If it's towards the end of the year, like Christmas time, where the vibes are that of school being over, family time, festivities.
So this season specifically, every season's a little different, so this isn't universally true.
Mm-hmm.
Episodes 1 through 13 were showing between March and May, I believe, of 2005.
Okay. So not end of the year, like calendar year, but still very reasonable to assume that these are coming out right at the dawn of summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
More or less. Like they were spring into summer. It was that kind of show. Episode 14 you're seeing it's sort of tagged here at season 1 on Max. I think that counts more as the beginning of season 2. Partly because, like I said, episode 13 stopped airing in May of 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 14 is a Christmas special.
Okay.
That came out on Christmas. So irrespective of how the streaming services choose to brand it, I feel like this is the end of the series. Or the end of the season.
Okay. I imagine, too, and I could be very wrong about this, and I suppose we will find out later, Christmas special is a little bit of fluff?
Sort of. Basically, every season has a Christmas special. There are some exceptions. Some of them are really plot relevant. Some of them weren't when they were written and then became plot relevant later. So most of them are just meant to be really nice, sort of self-contained stories. Like some of them don't even have the same companions as their previous or upcoming seasons.
Okay.
So every Christmas special is different. One didn't even do a Christmas special. They did a New Year's special.
Hey, that...
Yeah. Which I think is neat. I think it's neat to do.
The two are a week apart from each other.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's kind of neat to give other holidays, a special.
Yeah, give other holidays a chance.
Yeah. It's just kind of neat. Well, because you're exploring other themes that you can only explore certain things with Christmas, but other ones open up other avenues.
Give us an Easter special, Doctor Who's. Where's our Arbor Day special?
So we're coming up here first on Bad Wolf is the first one we're looking at.
I already know what your effing question is going to be.
How do you think the phrase Bad Wolf has been following them?
Something is after them. And just because I'm cheating, Dalek is in the next thumbnail, so I have a feeling that fucker's got something to do with it. But there is also a kid writing Bad Wolf on the...
Mm-hmm. That kid is secretly a Dalek.
I'll have you know, I grew up in the Lost era. Like, I'm not Lost, but Lost was on a lot in my house when I was a kid. So whenever I hear anything with bad in front of it, I immediately think it's J.J. Abrams' production company of Bad Robot. So I'm like, this is just the Doctor's production company. Bad Wolf.
I mean, it is funny you say that. Russell T Davies, I don't know if this was while he was producing or if it became afterwards. Russell T Davies, his company is Bad Wolf Productions.
Dip. Okay, so I'm not wrong to feel that way. It's just wrong in this context.
Yes.
What I don't know is how this relates. For the record, I am back at a 11 out of 22 guesses correct, hovering at that 50% margin. Love to see it. I absolutely know I'm going to fuck it up.
Just a possibility right on your doorstep.
Okay. I think Bad Wolf is the name that somebody had dubbed him during the Time War, and that somebody is...
The Doctor, you mean? You think Bad Wolf is the Doctor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that the Doctor is Bad Wolf.
Okay.
And I think that it is meant to be more mocking.
Okay.
Mocking isn't the right word.
Like taunting him.
It feels the same way as, like, I know what you did last summer.
Yeah, makes sense.
Taunting, I suppose, is the good word. So I think that the term Bad Wolf is meant to taunt the Doctor. However, as he is somewhat of an immortal being, he has nothing to fear. So despite all efforts to taunt him, it has not fazed him until now. Or
he's been, like, keeping it down and not trying to, like, release the secret. Okay.
Kind of like, kind of like the, what's that one, like Babadook, or I don't even want to say some of the other cryptids that I'm aware of, because I do not want them coming over around here.
Like Bloody Mary?
Something like that.
You just stare into a mirror going, Bad Wolf, Bad Wolf, Bad Wolf.
Awoo! Yeah. Yeah, I think that we've reached the Doctor's breaking point for the Bad Wolf taunting.
Okay. So
I will phrase that as...
I mean, I'll even just accept the Doctor is Bad Wolf, if that's what you want to say.
Sure.
Like, we don't need it. Like, the specifics of that beyond that are fine. I will tell you, we are not going to find that out in the first episode.
Okay.
That is an answer that is the thing that gets answered in the second episode.
I mean, we could also do a lump sum of 4 guesses just for the...
I've got 2 more questions for the next one.
Dip. All right, cool.
And then, this is only sort of a spoiler in the sense that it's revealed pretty early on. This 2-parter takes place once again on Satellite 5.
Motherfucker, why can't we go anywhere else?
I know. It's one of my great issues with this season is that they don't go very far. They go to 2 different satellites orbiting around Earth and then to Earth multiple times, including Cardiff like twice.
Yeah, they go to 2 satellites, Cardiff,
London,
Utah, and London.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah. But I will also say this is in the future of Satellite 5. So this is a while after the Doctor did his thing the first time and killed Simon Pegg and the Zit Monster. Mm-hmm. What do you think might be going up on Satellite 5 now?
Simon Pegg and the Zit Monsters.
Zit Monster.
8 a.m. with Simon Pegg and the Zit Monster coming at you. That's the sound of the Zit Monster. So, when last we left Satellite 5, Zit Monster was... Oh, no, his name was Max.
Yeah.
So, when last we left the Zit Monster, Max was dead?
Yes, Max exploded. But everybody else on Satellite 5 in the hundreds of floors... Mm-hmm. I should hope we see other floors. But they were all still kind of there. So if So Satellite 5 before was, at least what we saw of it, was a news broadcast.
I don't think it is a news broadcast center anymore.
Okay.
I think that everybody who is there has taken refuge there and has built their own little society.
Okay, so it's not. So you don't think it's a TV station anymore?
Oh, because you're asking that, I want to say yes.
Yes, it is a TV station?
No.
No?
Yes.
Entirely your call.
Rabbit season. Duck season.
Elmer season?
Duck season. Duck season. No. Yes, news station. No news station.
I didn't say news station, I said television station. It's your choice if you want it to still be news or not.
Oh my god, Zachary! Oh, it's a fucking TV station because that's what you said out of your mouth.
Okay, so so your guess is that it's a TV station because it's what I said out of my mouth. I think that
everybody who was working there, living there, I think that it is a people-owned, people-operated operation.
Okay. What's the term for it? A worker-owned company, or at least a human-owned and operated facility. If that is so, with those guesses locked in, why don't we take a look here at Bad Wolf, and then we'll be right back with a little break-see to talk a little bit about it before we get to the parting of the ways.
This week's episode of Who is My Doctor is brought to you by the letter A, as in apple. Ah! That's what apple sounds like if you replace all the letters in the word apple with the letter A. Back to the show now. I'm so happy those nerds are back.
It's so weird here. I get it, but it's so amusing hearing you talk about being excited to see Daleks.
They're so stupid.
Yes, the Daleks have returned from the supposed extinction they had mere episodes ago.
Well, to be fair, nobody knew.
Yeah, that is, and apparently they've been just floating around and just off the edge of the solar system, hiding in invisibility for hundreds of years.
I was gonna say they seem to have their own little cloaking devices.
Yeah, they said the satellite was projecting two signals, one for the TV and one to cloak the Daleks.
Brilliant. Masterminds, each and every one of those.
So I guess we do have sort of an answer to one of your questions.
I mean,
you said so. I'm of two minds on it.
I said that the Doctor is Bad Wolf, but I also said that it was.
Oh no! I was because we haven't found out who Bad Wolf is yet.
Okay, cool.
Specifically, you had said Satellite 5 was people owned and operated, and the people believe they own and operate it. So I'm inclined to give you the point, but technically speaking, the Daleks own and operate.
I mean, they're all just little guys.
They're all just
people
little guys.
Too.
So I'm inclined to give you that point at least. We still don't know the answer to the second question here. But I will say, when I was talking earlier about me having sort of a personal hang-up with this two-parter, it is that the opening half, or not even the opening, the first half of the episode requires you to know a lot about, not even a lot, but it requires you to know about three very specific British programs.
I mean, yes and no, because I grew up watching TV and knew more or less, I was younger, so I didn't watch Big Brother, but I knew about it. Mm-hmm. And Weakest Link.
Yeah, and when I first watched this, I knew about the Weakest Link.
And What Not to Wear. Those were all shows that were on and around. Now, that's also coming from somebody who was born in the 1990s.
Yeah, it's just one of those, I don't feel like it ages very well.
Now, to be fair, the entire time, though, when they were doing any sort of scene in the Big Brother house, I said, oh, it's like The Circle, which is a show on Netflix that has somewhat of a similar thing. It is a kind of an eye in the sky sort of reality TV. Everything's very scripted, and you sign a waiver that basically says that you cannot complain if like you lose all rights to your own words and editors can do whatever the fuck they want.
Mm.
You know, one of those.
Yeah, I only know that the show exists, and I have gathered through osmosis that it's a little like the real world. I don't really know much about it. I knew nothing about What Not to Wear, but I'd seen The Weakest Link, and I will say that android is one of the greatest puns in sci-fi history.
I think it's also something to be said of, even if you don't know the specifics of the show that they are supposedly on, there are enough other show clones where you don't need to know the context.
I suppose that's fair.
There's enough other fashion shows, even if it's not What Not to Wear. There's Queer Eye and...
Yeah, you do generally get the gist of it.
There's a lot of shows that mimic those same formats, and they've picked three distinct, like, you have contestants in a house, you have contestants competing with their smarts, and you have people wearing clothes.
I do think it was a nice touch that they had Anne and the hosts of What Not to Wear. They were voicing their future droid counterparts. I thought that's a cute touch.
That is fun.
Also, but you were even commenting on how right after they get out of the Big Brother house, there's just sort of a solid 4 or 5 minute exposition dump.
5 in ages. Game station now. Hasn't been Satellite 5 in about 100 years.
100 years exactly. It's the year 200100. I was here before, floor 139. Satellite was broadcasting news channels back then.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not a great moment. Like I said, I still think the story is really engaging, especially like I think there's a lot of mystery to it because we still only kind of half know what's going on, but we don't know how the Doctor's gonna get out of this one. There's a whole many number of them Daleks out there.
well, that, and it's also even more intriguing because I know that this is like the last one of this particular series. I also don't know what the thumbnail for the Christmas episode looks like. I know from you saying that, oh, that's kind of the beginning of the next series, so I know that the Doctor is going to not exist.
The Doctor dies.
Yeah, the Doctor unalives, changes form, shape change.
Well,
Metamorphosis. He turns into a little Dr. Caterpillar again.
He just turns into a little egg. He's an egg.
He's an egg!
Well, so let's get into their follow-up for the Cassie Profassi this round.
Okay.
We still don't know one of the answers from the last one, but you did get one of the two. I'm giving one of the 2 points to you, at least so far. At the end of that preview, we don't normally watch the preview, but I allow them for two-parters, because what does it matter? We're about to watch it anyway. At the end of it, the Doctor asks,
How did you survive the Time War?
They survived through me.
That one's Big Wolf.
that Big Wolf?
Big Wolf.
It's Bad Wolf versus Big Wolf?
Yeah.
Who do you think that voice might be?
Bad Wolf.
Are you changing your first answer from...
No, well...
Let me put it this way. What do you think that character's relationship to the Daleks is? Like, do you think they're like
that's the Daleks' creator. Yeah?
Think it's their creator?
Yeah.
Okay. I will tell you, Doctor Who has shown the Daleks' creator before.
I just remember you talking in the past about how the Daleks convince themselves to turn against their creator because they are not Dalek.
Yes. So the Daleks' creator is a scientist named Davros, who, for the most part, looks like a really fucked up guy. He rolls around in the bottom half of a Dalek, like the part that looks like it's got all the bumps on it.
Yeah, the dress part.
Yeah, the dress part. He rolls around in that like it's a wheelchair.
Okay.
So you believe that voice to be Davros?
Well, I don't know, because if he's dead, and it.
I will tell you, he's died more than once.
Well, yeah, but it also sounded very distinctly like the other Dalek, just much deeper. So there is a big difference between them.
Okay.
If I just want to give a general guess, this one just Dalek but bigger.
just big Dalek.
Yeah, as opposed to the other ones being just a little guy, this one is
a big boy.
This is a big guy.
It's a big boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna label it as Big Daddy Dalek.
Big Daddy Dalek. So, who do you think saves the day in this one?
Oh, Captain Jack.
You think Captain Jack saves the day?
Yeah.
Okay. It would be his turn, I suppose.
Yeah.
Rose and the Doctor done it enough.
Yeah, I think Captain Jack is the one to save the day in this one.
All right.
That's my vote. Captain Jack.
Okay.
He's the savior.
So the new Cassie Profassies are of a Big Daddy Dalek and Captain Jack saving the day. And so from here, we will be right back one more time after the parting of the ways. And we are back from the parting of the ways.
Wow. How Marvel of them.
Yeah, it ends with Doctor Who will return in the Christmas invasion. Just very, very end of a Marvel movie.
It is indeed.
So, I guess, I normally like to go through the episode, maybe not in order, but at least through the meat, but you just saw your first regeneration.
I did, and you know what? So, when I was a kid, I saw Wicked for the first time. My favorite part was when Fiyero is turning into the Tin Man.
Mm-hmm. Was it Fiyero? I thought it was...
it was Bach.
Yeah,
it
Bach.
Or my favorite part was when Bach is turning into the Tin Man. Because there's just something about men in pain transforming that just greases a wheel. So I loved it.
Well, you're going to enjoy it more because the next couple are even more violent than that.
Oh, delicious.
But we'll get to those when we get to those. Christopher Eccleston is the outside of the 8th Doctor Who only lasted one TV movie. Christopher Eccleston only lasted one season of Doctor Who.
Okay.
Making him, of the Doctors that got seasons, he is the shortest of all of them.
Which is kind of funny because he seems pretty tall.
There's a lot of reports around why he left, and I don't want to conflate all of them, but some of the reasons were that he, I guess, wasn't aware of how much time it would take away from him. Shooting a season of Doctor Who is basically 6 to 9 months of work, but Christopher Eccleston had no way of knowing that because he was the first one to do it.
Mm.
Now, there are some other things, like he had some issues with the BBC production and how some of the staff was treated.
Ironically enough, though, it sounds like the thing that drove him the way was time.
Yeah, ironically. Okay, so this is Zach coming to you after I edited the podcast, and I just wanted to make a little addendum here, because I'm worried it sounds like Christopher Eccleston left because of scheduling reasons. I want to be very clear, that's a little part of it, but a larger part of it, and I think the part that he would tell you, is that the set environment was ridiculously toxic. Some of the reports are related to things we talked about on a previous pod where John Barrowman liked to whip his dick out. But moreover, as far as I'm aware, it is that the crew were being mistreated. Some of the lower level meaning not leads, not lower levels and unimportant. Lower level cast were being mistreated, and especially recently with some of the comments Christopher Eccleston has made where he doesn't want to come back unless a lot of people in charge are fired. I didn't want this to come across incorrectly. Christopher Eccleston left because the BBC was mistreating people in production. That is the long and short of it, to be honest. So just wanted to make that clear. Anyway, back to the podcast. But yes, he only lasted one season, and he's not come back since. Which is rare. Usually, he'll show up at cons and stuff, and he just recently did his first audio drama.
Okay.
He really he didn't, and a part of it was also that he didn't think Russell T Davies knew what he wanted his Doctor to be until really late into production.
And you can kind of get that a little bit. Yeah,
it seemed like a lot of it was the character isn't necessarily all over the place, but it's a little loose, which is in some ways it's nice because it gives his Doctor a real unpredictable kind of energy.
There is a lot of room for him to breathe.
Yes.
But in that same sense, there is a lot of inconsistencies, and I am the most upset at the fact that at the very beginning of the season I said Rose and the Doctor have a brother-sister dynamic, and then I said, oh no, Father's Day confirms them having a father-daughter dynamic. I was wrong.
I don't think you were wrong. I think that's also
It's too passionate of a kiss, though.
Well, more what I mean is, I think part of what I was saying about they never really never landed on what they wanted Christopher Eccleston's Doctor to be. I think that was part of it. They never really figured out, they never properly ironed out that relationship to where that kiss at the end kind of does feel like a little out of left field. Now, I think
it feels very out of left field, and the only reason why I can make my peace with it is because it is a kiss with a job.
Yeah, it is. And also, Jack kisses both of them earlier in the episode.
That's different. So. Jack is a little slut.
Well, I just mean there's a certain level where it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic.
Yeah, but also Jack is going up to everybody and giving them a solid you haven't seen your grandma in a minute kiss, and she's smooching your cheek and just giving you lots of love and affection.
Yeah.
That between Rose and the Doctor is not that.
Yeah.
Again, I can make my peace with it because it is serving the purpose of taking all of the space-time energy vortex.
Yeah, the time vortex is what they call it. It's the
time vortex out of Rose, because that's how kisses work. Like a time vortex vacuum.
Just sucked it out of her like soup. I'm gonna suck the time vortex through a Rose Tyler straw.
Ew.
I mean, I also generally dislike the Doctor having a romantic relationship with an Earthling, because I feel like to Time Lords, humans should be like pets.
I mean, yes, but I look at it similar to D&D rules of elves dating humans. Mm-hmm. Because elves live hundreds of years and humans simply do not. So in my head, it really does feel more like Time Lord finds a human partner and can have multiple human partners in their lifetime because their lifetime is infinite.
Yeah.
Because looking at somebody as a pet, it's just like, oh, you're so cute. You're just so small and so sweet with your emotions and your needs and such. And this is also coming from a place of, I know quite a few people who on the regular will say the lines, humans are so cute, as if they aren't a human being as well. And that logic has always gotten under my skin a little bit, so that is where that stance comes from.
Well, we can come back around to the regeneration at the end here, but so let's talk a little bit about the episode itself. First of all, your predictions. You were right that
I don't want to talk about it.
You were right that
I don't want to talk about it.
The Dalek Emperor is just Big Daddy Dalek. He views himself as a god. He's the ruler of the Daleks, and because they have been trapped on spaceships for hundreds of years with no one else to talk to but each other, they have lost their minds and genuinely believe the Emperor Dalek to be a god now. The Emperor Dalek even believing himself to be immortal. But what a voice on that one, though.
Is it the same?
I believe it is.
Is it the same guy who does all of the other dorky Daleks?
I believe it is Nicholas Briggs on those two.
Because we have, so in my head, we've got Big Daddy Dalek, and we've got all of the dorky Daleks.
All of the dorky Daleks?
Yeah.
I believe Nicholas Briggs, at least at this point, is doing the voice for all of them.
Because they're all the same.
Yeah, and he'll just modulate his voice deeper for the Emperor Dalek.
Something about modulated voices. They just scratch that part of my brain I can never get.
And then your other prediction was that Bad Wolf was the Doctor.
I don't feel like I'm entirely wrong with that.
But
I'm also not right, because it is not taunting.
Yeah.
But I'm also don't think I'm wrong, because I don't fully understand what Bad Wolf was in the first place.
Okay, so Bad Wolf is...
Bad Wolf.
It's really
Bad
difficult
Wolf.
to say where it started.
What you gonna do?
But it...
what you gonna do when I come for you? Bad Wolf, Bad Wolf.
So Bad Wolf was the phrase that Rose Tyler put when she absorbed the time vortex looking into the heart of the TARDIS. She scattered the words Bad Wolf across time and space in order to keep her from staying in 2006 when the Doctor dropped her off. Basically, it was a breadcrumb for herself to lead her back to the Doctor.
Huh.
Because when she absorbed the time vortex, she had more control over time and space, enough to erase the Dalek fleet from existence altogether.
Yeah.
And also to take the words Bad Wolf from the Bad Wolf Corporation and plaster them in places where Rose Tyler would see them.
Okay, because I was trying to move the letters around, because I was like, oh, well, she said that it was like a code. I got dab loaf, which I didn't think was correct.
No, it's not necessarily about it's not an anagram as far as I'm aware. Most people will refer to the entity where Rose Tyler and the heart of the TARDIS are of one body.
Yeah.
They refer to that character as Bad Wolf. It is one of those little wibbly wobbly timey wimey bits.
This feels like another thing where I just have to say, this is the logic of the show.
Yeah, this is time travel logic.
And I know Jack wasn't the hero. We don't have to discuss that.
No, but Jack did die and then come back to life.
That doesn't make him a hero, though.
No, it was just an interesting point.
But then also, he isn't on the TARDIS, so he's just kind of stuck there.
At the moment, yeah.
Can I spoil it for myself a little bit? Does he come back?
He does come back.
Woo!
In fact, he was in the show again fairly... I think we talked about this before, but he was in the show again fairly recently.
Woo!
I think it was not this past season, but the season before it. He had an extended cameo in one episode. I do really enjoy the build-up to Rose getting to look into the heart of the TARDIS. Like, I don't necessarily know how I feel about her making a scene in a public restaurant.
I mean, to be fair, there was nobody else there.
Yeah.
And I also I don't want to say I liked it necessarily, but
there's an authenticity to it.
There is a part of that where it's like she truly is unhinged.
Yeah.
She is unhinged and
she's grieving.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
And we even see a little bit of that when she's specifically talking to Mickey, saying that there's nothing else for her. And I think you made the point of she can't even say that without
she's not looking at him when she says it.
No.
Because I think she knows that it's a mean thing to say to Mickey, but she's saying it because she needs Mickey to finally let go.
And I think having an outburst in a public restaurant really is a final straw sort of moment.
Yeah, and then also
because you can have breakdowns at home all day, every day, but when it's a public sort of display, that really does confirm to you and to other people around you, this is not just an emotional mood swing, something that's just going to come and go in a second. It's something that's really on the surface.
Yeah. And I liked the moment where Rose tells her mom about meeting her dad.
Yeah.
Doctor took me back in time and I met Dad. Don't say that. Remember when Dad died? There was someone with him. A girl, a blonde girl. She held his hand.
Me too. That was a very good actor moment for her as well.
Yeah.
For both of them, truthfully.
Yeah. And then the fact that it turns turns Jackie around to helping Rose too. I thought that was really...
I think at that point she's realized that her daughter is right. She can't go back to the way that life was before.
Yeah.
Because she has intrinsically altered the way that everybody's lives are because of the Doctor, because of the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Jackie's life was going to be different right from the gate anyways, because her husband had to die, but the fact that Rose was there and was this, quote, mysterious blonde
That held his hand.
I think in that moment she does realize, like, yep, this is the life that this is my daughter's life.
Yeah, and it's really nice seeing those two characters specifically having this, you know, I don't know if I want to call it a full character arc, but it is a journey for those characters where Mickey is finally able to let Rose go, and not even like let her go in like a really angry way like he did last time. And Jackie is so able to let her go that she's the one who gets the tow truck.
Yeah, because somebody owes her a favor, which also, like, she's cashing in a favor for her daughter.
Yeah, but then sure enough, the Doctor has to when he first has to trick Rose into being in the TARDIS to send her back.
I did and I didn't like that, because I think it's a really bullshit move, but also there's no other way that he was going to get Rose to go into the TARDIS.
Yeah, and it's also nice to show him keeping his promise to someone that he doesn't necessarily like.
Keeping his promise, and also he's doing it not only for Jackie, but also he's doing it for Rose, because he knows that the outcome is bleak.
And he tricks her into it, and then he has a little hologram set up to talk to her.
Which is such a wizard move.
Yes. What's really interesting is how the hologram looks at her at the end.
I know it's a trope, I suppose, or it's like, yeah, because he's doing the dialogue in the room, and then they do movie magic on top of them. Mm-hmm. But I've always liked when holograms know the person that they're speaking to well enough that they can predict where they're going to be. Mm-hmm. And so I like that in that moment, the Doctor knew that Rose was going to be walking about the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm. We don't need to go into a lot of detail about this, but now that you've had a full season, the full story of Christopher Eccleston's Doctor, really, how do you feel about it? How are you feeling about...
I still will stand by, I don't think he is my Doctor.
Okay.
I appreciate his Doctor. I'm excited to see what comes next.
Yeah, especially because for a lot of people, David Tennant is the Doctor.
Because also, because for me, the Doctor I'm most familiar with isn't actually David Tennant. It's Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Because that was all of my people, like everybody that I hung out with in college. He was like their go-to favorite Doctor.
Yeah. I will say, I think part of that is that the 11th Doctor is a lot easier to cosplay.
Maybe.
Like, David Tennant is very unique and specific, and so it's also not difficult to cosplay, but that usually requires buying certain pieces. A lot of people already might have a lot of Matt Smith stuff. They just need to buy like a bow tie or a fez.
Yeah.
That's not to knock any of them. I just think that's part of why.
I mean, that's
certain
kind of
Doctors
why.
become prevalent.
That's kind of why a lot of characters are people's favorites.
Yeah.
Because they're easy to dress up as.
Yeah.
Case in point, Raven. Extremely easy cosplay. Very recognizable. Doesn't have anything to do with this podcast. Just wanted to casually mention that's one of the cosplays I do.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed rewatching this with you, because every time I've watched it before, now I've always watched it on a computer, which is fine, but now that you and I have been watching it together on our TV, there are details I haven't caught before. Like in this two-parter specifically, when Rose meets Linda for the first time, Rose is very clearly jealous of Linda. I do
like that Linda is the Rose stand-in for when Rose gets sent home, basically.
Yeah, because there are little moments where, like, Rose is about to say something, but then Linda says it first, and Rose just has this look of bitch on her face. Mm-hmm. And so
it's just a very natural reaction, too.
It's just really nice that I'm coming up on probably my 5th watching of some of these episodes, and it's really nice that I'm still seeing new things. And I gain a new appreciation for the writing and some of the acting choices.
Yeah.
So that's the end of our run with Christopher Eccleston here. We're coming up on David Tennant after that regeneration. I really like the regeneration effect. It looked different every time they did it in Classico. One was very kind of silly, where just like a Cocoon Man follows the Doctor around for a story, and then the Doctor falls off of a big like scaffolding, and the Cocoon Man slides himself right over the Doctor, and he becomes the next iteration. It's very weird.
That sounds kind of silly.
Yeah, there's a part of me that most regenerations look like that from now on, with the orange spray effect. But there's a part of me that kind of wishes they were willing to get a little sillier with it again.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah, and I also like that the regeneration gives you hair gel, as David Tennant has just discovered.
I also do like just because this is my first regeneration, that this Doctor picks up, or that David Tennant picks up right where Christopher Eccleston left off.
Yeah, talking about the planet Barcelona.
Yeah.
His touch of new teeth, that's weird.
There is a part that's like, oh, cool. That makes the Doctor a real person.
Yeah.
There's something about just acknowledging that you have a different form and face, and the thing that you are that you fixate on first is not your height, is not your build, but the way that words feel coming out of your mouth because your teeth are different. That's some autistic bullshit if I've ever heard any.
And we get to enjoy David Tennant's attempt at a British accent the entire time, because he is a Scotsman.
What is with them and hiring Scotsmen?
Yeah.
And not letting them be let them be Scottish.
Peter Capaldi is also a Scotsman, but he gets to be Scottish as the Doctor, so I'm sure there's a part of David Tennant that's like, what? Was that a choice? Why couldn't I do that?
Oh, because you were talking about, what's his nuts? Captain Jack.
Oh, John Barrowman. Yeah, John Barrowman is, he's, I think, a dual citizen. I think he's both UK and American citizen. He is born in Scotland, and I believe he lived there until he was like 5 or 6, and then he moved to the United States. So he grew up using an American accent. But he can flip into either one. He prefers using his American accent for people for when he is not speaking with close friends or family.
Let them be Scottish. Because I'm also thinking about actors like Ewan McGregor, who more often than not in movies does not speak with his accent.
Yeah.
With his normal talking voice.
I mean, it sort of depends, especially because in the UK, like, the regions are so much smaller than they are here in the States.
I suppose.
So if you move a character, like, you know, a few miles south, suddenly they're going to have a wildly different accent. But we'll find out how much this new Doctor is like Christopher Eccleston, how different he is.
Yeah, that's because I kind of piggybacking off of the thing I said earlier. I like that he picks up right where this Doctor left off. But my understanding of the Doctors is that each one does bring their own isms and their own, like...
Yeah.
And so I am curious to see how he is both similar and how David Tennant is different from Christopher Eccleston.
The way I like to think about it is all the Doctors have the same, like, personality dials, but what levels each thing is turned to will change based on the portrayal.
I imagine too it's similar to seeing a Broadway show, or like listening to the original Broadway cast but then seeing several tours of it that does not have the original Broadway cast. Where, take for instance a show like The Book of Mormon. Like, yes, you still have your Elder Price and your Elder Cunninghams being opposites of each other, but you're not ever going to have Andrew Rannells and Olaf.
Olaf.
Yeah, call him by his actual name. Olaf Gad.
Hello, I'm Elder Cunningham, and I like warm hugs.
Yeah, but I'd imagine it is more that energy where it's every other... There is no one set Doctor, like, this is how it's supposed to be. There is just a general, like, here are specific traits the doctor, here is a specific backstory that you have as the doctor. Here is what people did before you. Have fun.
I think you're gonna like him. Especially, I've gained some new appreciation for the journey his doctor goes through. And I will say that I don't want to say with absolute certainty, but if I were to rank them, I do think like 3 of my top 5 stories are in David Tennant's run.
Okay. Now, I'm confused. So, how many episodes then does David Tennant Doctor have?
Every Doctor after Christopher Eccleston has taken 3 seasons.
Oh, dip. All right.
And that's the most common thing. And that's partly based off of what, ironically, the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton, that was his advice to future Doctors. So most Doctors have taken 3 seasons. The first one had 3 seasons, not entirely intentionally.
Oh yeah, we've discussed that.
Yeah, he got sick, and so he had to quit the show.
He was Dr. Narcissist.
Yeah, he was.
But then a tradition was born.
Yeah,
so.
the second Doctor took 3 seasons because that was what he wanted. The 5th Doctor asked the second Doctor for advice, and he took 3 seasons. The second Doctor quit because the BBC was screwing him over, so he only got 2 seasons. And then the 7th Doctor got 3 seasons. And then Tennant, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, and Jodie Whittaker took 3 seasons each. I keep hoping someone will hang on for a little bit longer. But you know,
it's not tradition.
Well, even then, it's their choice. The 3rd Doctor took 5 seasons, and the 4th Doctor took 7.
It's not tradition.
Yeah, so it's a matter of what feels right for their careers, and so I don't begrudge any of them the choice. I think it'd be fun if someone
you want a Kenan Thompson of Doctor Who.
A little bit. I would like I want to see someone take their portrayal and have them go through a longer arc than just 3 seasons.
Now, question. Just because we are going to this is the wrap up. Mm-hmm. Will we see Rose again?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Multiple times, in fact. She is still the companion of next season.
Okay, cool.
But then she has a couple other appearances.
Because I know that one of David Tennant's companions is I don't remember her name, but she's
Can you describe her? I can.
Redhead.
Oh, Catherine Tate.
Yeah. I was gonna say Lucy Hale, but I was like, that's
a totally different person.
That is a completely different person who has been. She's been in an evil stepsister in an iteration of Cinderella 4 times. I digress. Kristen Tate.
Catherine Tate.
She was in The Office.
Oh, okay.
So I'm familiar with her from The Office, and in grade school when I was watching The Office when it was on TV, which I didn't ever think would age me as much as it does now, but some of my friends that were watching it knew her from Doctor Who, and
okay, so
they were really excited that she was there, and I did not have any clue why people were so excited about her, and so I know a handful of the bits.
Well, you'll certainly see them when we get to them, but that's not now. That's in the future.
Good. Let me go to bed, please.
You may finally go to bed.
Let me rest.
As we come next time to start David Tennant's journey on Who Is My Doctor?
Who is my doctor?
Who is indeed.
Good night.
Good night. And so closes our chapter with Christopher Eccleston's Doctor. Boy, I sure am going to miss that one part. You know the one. It was your favorite part. With the thing and the thing. But next week we get to our first story with David Tennant, many people's favorite Doctor, and I actually did a little poll on Twitter asking you guys who you thought would be Cassie's Doctor, and Tennant was the clear winner. I guess we'll have to see how right those votes were as we keep going. And if you'd like to vote in our next poll, you can follow us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, or Threads at WimDpod. That's WIMDPOD. Please give us a like or 5 stars or a thumbs up to help us get discovered by the algorithm. Or you can take control of the algorithm with your own 2 hands. Show that man can defeat machine by sharing this podcast with anyone that you think would like it. Well, either way, we will see you next week for our Christmas special, or we'll be watching a Christmas special. It's almost like I planned it.